Hello, welcome to Undisputed Boxing. It's prediction time. We're back with another prediction. Get ready to head down the bookies. Predictions.
And don't follow our advice.
Joseph Parker versus Derek Chisora 2. The rematch that nobody was kind of shouting for, but Rick is going. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. Give us a comment. Let us know your prediction. We did a prediction on this. I went with Parker, you went with Chisora. Obviously Parker won. Was it a split decision in the end? I can't remember.
I remember. We also did a prediction last week kind of on it. I remember talking about this, so we've already probably shown our cards on this.
We'll have a look at it now. But yeah, okay, take it away. Give us your break us down the fight. What do you think? How do you see this one going?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go against what happened last time. I'm going to go for a Chisora on points. I think it was very close. I can't remember if it was split or not, but it was close. And you did have some people thinking Chisora won, and there was no robbery or anything like that. It was one of those fights that depended what you liked. I think, one thing that's going to help Parker is, more time with Andy Lee, and that is a factor. I think one thing that's going to help Chisora last time is the crowd. And I think that is the big factor for me. I think Chisora dries off the crowd a hell of a lot. I think it's one of the things he fights for. And I think he knows he was very close last time and therefore knows more what he needs to do. And I think if he can find just that little bit more, that might be enough, because I just don't think Parker is someone who is aggressive enough to deal with a Chisora at a slightly higher pace level that and I think he may get to that because of the crowd and because he knows he needs to find that next level. That's my thing. But it's not I'll be surprised if anyone wins by KO, because I think both have got decent chins. I think Parker's got an awesome chin, but I don't think he's a big hitter. I don't think either are going to gas out as much. So I struggle to see how it's going to end in KO, but it is heavyweights. But I wouldn't be hugely surprised if Parker won it again on points.
Okay.
But I'm leaning just towards Chisora, and maybe that's a little bit of the Brit in me. I don't know.
Your patriotism's taken over. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a difficult one with Joseph Parker, isn't it? I mean, when he was coming up through the ranks, I remember there was a lot of boxing trendies that were raving about Joseph Parker. It's almost like it was cool to like Joseph Parker as a boxer, as a fighter, as he was coming through. But there was never really anything that I saw in him that I thought he's going to be a world beater or he's going to take over the heavyweight division. I did think for a long time that he was probably one of the most overrated heavyweights. And I actually thought he lost to Andy Ruiz when he fought him, which I think was for a final eliminator for the WBO.
No, that was for that was a title fight. That's when he
was
a title defense.
I thought it was for an eliminator. Anyway, but Andy Ruiz, I actually thought Andy Ruiz beat him. I thought Andy Ruiz was, landing the cleaner work, but it was in New Zealand, and I just thought he didn't get the rub of the green. Yeah, the first fight, going back to Chisora, Parker won. That was a split decision win for Parker, and Chisora actually put him down, didn't he?
Yeah, in the first round, I think, quite early.
Knocked him down, and then
it was a strange knockdown. It was a strange knockdown, that.
Yeah, but then Parker wins the majority of the fight, and I just think the younger, fresher heavyweight is, it's more time with Andy Lee, who I think is, a really good trainer. I actually see it as a more clear win for Parker. I don't think he will look to engage as much with Chisora, and he will look to kind of try and box him a little bit more off the back foot. I think everybody knows that Parker isn't going to be able to run through somebody like Chisora. I think he's just going to tie him up, tire him out, box off the back foot, use good lateral movement, footwork, and I think Parker wins unanimous decision. I think it'll be a more clear win for Joseph Parker, and then Yeah. But it's amazing, isn't it, how we're still talking about Derek Chisora? I mean, he's 37. He's lost
Problem
like
is
11
that
fights.
yeah, but he one, he's entertaining, and two, when he does get beat, he does it in a way that's still very competitive most of the time.
Yeah.
And that way, that for that reason, his level hasn't dropped. You know, he lost to Dillian White with that knockout, and then he may fought someone. Then he came back against Takam and did that knockout, and then he fought. I might be missing people here, but he fought Usyk and was very competitive. He fought Parker and was very competitive, and you know, even if he loses this fight and it's on points, he'll probably be in another big fight spring next year.
Yeah.
You know, and at some point, it may not be Matchroom, but he's another great. He may slip down next year into that next level where he becomes, but it's still potentially pay-per-view ish.
Choice.
Well, in today's environment, he may be a good opponent for a Joe Joyce or Dubois.
Mm.
Well, not may. He will be a good opponent, whether it's pay-per-view or not. I don't know, but he'd want good money for those fights still if he's competitive against Parker. Until the day he gets kind of cleaned out and everyone goes, "Oh, he looks old and looks done," but he doesn't really look done. He looks more energetic than he has in the past, and you know, he brings it really. So
yeah,
it'd be funny to see if there's any antics, because you know, he's like, he almost needs like to create antics to get himself up a bit.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta hand it to him. He is entertaining. He is entertaining. I mean, as I say, 11 defeats, and you know, we're still talking about him as 11. Think about, has there ever been somebody that's had 11 defeats that's still a pay-per-view fighter? I mean, when did he get cleaned out by David Haye? David Haye cleaned him out, what, in?
Yeah,
I don't know. When was that?
Oh, a long time ago. But yeah, he's
2012.
The thing is, he's not asked about losing.
No.
Really. I mean, he wants to win, but he just wants a fight and a payday. And actually, you know, all these people that are protecting their O's, and you know, sometimes the fear of defeat can hamper your performance. If he's going in going, well, I've lost 11 times anyway, doesn't really matter. I just want to make, you know, at the end of the day, he knows that he's got to still look at a good level. But if he entertains, that's at heavyweight anyway. That's half the battle to remaining relevant and stuff. You know, imagine this is a draw, then he fights Dubois, you know, in spring, and might get cleaned out in the 7th or 8th round, but it's like an absolute war. Well, he'll be in another big fight after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to the chief support, aren't you?
Yes, Carlos Gongora versus Lerone Richards. Yeah, I am looking forward to that, actually. I don't know where we're going to watch it yet, but yeah, I'm quite excited about that.
Are you going to watch it?
Well, Lerone Richards, I know this might be a bold statement, but I think he's one of the biggest talents that we have in the UK at the moment. He is really, really, really special, and I expect him to beat Carlos Gongora probably by unanimous decision. He doesn't have great knockout power, but Gongora's no mug. You know, he upset the party when he beat Ali Akhmedov on the undercard of Golovkin. He was just brought in as an opponent, and it was a thrilling fight against Ali Akhmedov, where he stops him in the 12th round. But I think Lerone Richards, I think his boxing skill will be too much. I'd expect him to win. He's really, really good. Well worth a watch. What fight are you hoping to get in there for?
I usually I don't know the order of it all, but yeah, I definitely get in for that. I think last week we saw 4 fights, so I usually see 4 or 5. The Savage is on.
Savage
is on the card because he's on the poster, and I only noticed that this week. I don't know if he's got an opponent, so it ain't going to be anyone any good, but I am desperate just to see him. So I'm hoping he's going to be, you know, maybe the 4th fight from the end. Hopefully he'd be high up, even if he's fighting Doctor, just because he's well known. Because I don't want to be going in at 6 o'clock to watch him. I don't mind going in like 7:30 or something.
They're talking about getting him in with Dave Allen. Am I talking
Yeah,
bullshit?
but that won't be that won't be this time round. I mean, I did wonder because they've kept him active and that, and I thought, this is a great opportunity these last two weeks. So I'll keep my eye on BoxRec and see what happens. At the moment, I'm a bit concerned because there's no opponent, so it may just be he doesn't.
Let me have a quick look on BoxRec, see if anything's up now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Loren Richards is chief support now against Gongora. So yeah, well worth a watch. Joe Alan Babbage. Yeah, it's quite low down at the moment. I'd imagine it will jump up quite a bit. Sulfur Barrett's on the card.
Does it say TB?
Yeah, TBA. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on Instagram. Yeah. Either.
By the way, the card order on there isn't always what it is.
Yeah, it's not a great card, It's a shame Boazzi got.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the killer for me. That's the killer. I mean that was a. I mean I was always going to go to this fight.
He was in a real fight as well.
If this had been, because it's Manchester, I live in Manchester. It was a no-brainer, really. If this had been London, and Boazzi was on it, I'd have been up for going to London, and staying with you and watching this. But if Boazzi had come off the card, it'd probably been enough for me to go, do you know what? I'm not that, to go to London and then the ticket and all that stuff. So, but yeah, so I was gutted about that. That was a heart wrencher, that one.
All right, well let's wrap it up. Look, we'll do a review on Sunday if we can.
Yeah. Any news? Anything I thought of is, I tried to get this week, or actually yesterday, Calm Brook tickets, and then wondered why I couldn't get any, and they sold out within 10 minutes.
Are you serious? Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Sold out within 10 minutes. And
apparently, what does that say for the pay-per-view projections? Their pay-per-view projections
well, I don't know.
A lot better.
100,000 apparently subscribed to get the email notification. I don't know. I've got no comparisons. I don't know if that was good or bad. But yeah, maybe Matchroom have misjudged this, and also maybe Boxer have misjudged it, because I always think to myself, because this is part of the world where my career is in revenue management. If you sell out that quickly, have you underpriced it?
Yeah.
Have you either underpriced your tickets or have you misjudged it and you could have got a stadium?
Well, you've got to think the people that were interested in it and made it a 800,000 or 1 million pay-per-view buys fight. Have they immediately just lost interest, or have they gone away, or are they still do they still have that level of intrigue? That's what you've got to ask yourself, whether they are over the hill or not.
Yeah.
And clearly.
So yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think, until you see the full picture, we spoke about this before. People, if it does 700,000-800,000 pound, 700,000-800,000, everyone will go like Matchroom and Mr. Trick. It depends what they've guaranteed the fighters.
Yeah.
If they've guaranteed them the split of a 10 million pound purse, then it's probably 700, 800 just to break even.
Yeah.
So it does depend, but actually I don't think the ticket prices were ridiculous when I did see what they were going to be. It makes me wonder if there's a hell of amount on resale. I wonder if this is a load of people have jumped on it and bought tickets to resale, because I've seen some tickets that are probably 150 to 200 on resale for 700, which is disgrace, because you're not telling me people have suddenly gone, oh, I can't go that quickly.
Well, that just happens. Yeah.
So I'm going to keep my eye out in case, maybe there's a load of resellers that have misjudged the demand, bought a load, and now they can't sell them. So we'll keep my eye on it. So yeah, that's one of the bits of news that
I don't really have any news. I think Daniel Jacobs and John Ryder is being talked about as potential for February for super middleweight, potentially for a vacant WBA strap if Canelo relinquishes his super middleweight belts, or it might just be an eliminator. That's quite an interesting fight, John Ryder versus Daniel Jacobs.
I've heard rumors on Boxing Voice that like Wilder's making comments about retirement.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I think, I mean, there's nothing wrong with losing to the our generation top heavyweight, but there's something that tells me his mindset isn't going to take this defeat or these defeats very well. And we're just talking about Derek Chisora, who's lost 11 fights, he's still in entertaining fights. Deontay Wilder could 100% be that. He could be in entertaining fights, win or lose. And I do think it would be a shame if he did retire, but I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, what does he mean? He's 36. I mean, he doesn't probably need the coin, but he could go on for another 3 years, still be competitive to some degree. But because he's got that knockout punch, but he's vulnerable, people will be paying. People will be paying for years to watch him in pay-per-view fights.
Oh, mate, I still think Deontay Wilder versus AJ is possibly the biggest fight from an entertainment up and down, like two big punches. Definitely not go 12 rounds. Like, tell me a bigger fight than AJ versus Deontay Wilder in the heavyweight.
Well, for me, it would be Fury, but
Fury AJ, yeah, maybe, yeah. But in terms of like, you have zero idea what's going to happen in this fight. Literally anything could happen.
Probably.
I think with AJ Fury, you have a good idea of how it could go. You know, Fury would probably, weather the early storm and just sort of outbox AJ. But with AJ Deontay Wilder, that is just who the hell knows what's going to happen here.
And you're right. I mean, I'd love Fury. I'd love them all to carry on, maybe a bit longer than they should, just for our entertainment. That's a bit selfish, but who knows how it's going to unleash. But you just want to see White versus Wilder and Andy Ruiz versus Wilder and Joshua versus Ruiz and Wilder and White again, and and then throw a bit of Dubois in the mix and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, probably in 7 or 8 years when all these lot are done, maybe not Dubois, but you'll look and you'll go, we only probably got 20% of the fights we really wanted to see, because you'd want to throw them all together, but you just can't really. I mean, you never got it from the past generations,
Yeah, I mean, in boxing, this is nothing new. There's lots of fights that we missed out on. Riddick Bowe versus Lennox Lewis. Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson in his prime. This, the list goes on. We could be going. You could go on all night with this, but yeah. I hope it's not true, and I hope he does fight again. But yeah, let's see. All right, have fun on Saturday at the big one, and if we don't, possibly we should be able to do a review on Sunday. If not, maybe on Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Thanks everybody for listening.